Highly pathogenic strains of bird flu are spreading around the world, with 3 separate variants detected in Australia. In rare cases, the virus has infected people, usually those working with farm animals, but now it's been found in someone who's had no contact with animals. With more, here's Dr. Norman Swan, co-host of Radio National's Health Report and the What's That Rash podcast.
What's happened in recent years is that it's mutated and is able to get into mammals, non-bird animals. And in the last year or so in the United States, it's been infecting dairy herds, over 200 dairy herds through the United States, most recently in California. And associated with this spread, and through the years, there have been cases where the bird flu has spread to humans. In years gone by, it's had a high mortality rate, up to 60%. There have been 14 cases of human bird flu associated with the recent outbreaks, 4 of which have been from direct contact with dairy-infected cows, probably through the raw milk, and 9 through contact with infected poultry. About 18.6 million poultry, individual birds have been, chickens mostly, have been infected in the United States. This one case in Missouri, where there's been no dairy herds reported with bird flu, although there have been poultry flocks, reports no contact with farm animals whatsoever. So we don't know where this person caught it from. They got diarrhea, vomiting, headache. They were unwell, but not seriously unwell, and they responded to anti-flu medications. And when they did the genome of the virus that this person had, it was very similar to the outbreak in dairy herds. So the question is, which is what people are worried about, is are we getting human-to-human spread of this virus? Now, there's no evidence of that in this case. However, a close contact of this person, a healthcare worker, did come down with flu-like symptoms but did not test positive to flu. So it's a mystery at the moment. But we just do need to be on the alert, particularly in Australia, because with migrating birds returning to Australia for spring and summer, then the risk is that they bring more pathogenic, more serious forms of this bird flu. We already have some bird flu in Australia, but the more serious forms into the country.
Let's get on to another topic then, cholera. New figures have been released. They show more people are dying from this disease. Why is that happening?
Poverty, lack of sanitation, warfare, social disruption. It's moved from Asia to Africa. Africa's not had a lot of cholera historically, and this disease is still around, affecting thousands of people each year. 2023, which is a year most recently reported, and was a big year for cholera, and 2024 doesn't look much better.
It's been called the 7th pandemic of cholera.
Yeah, the first pandemic. Yeah, the first pandemic. Well, the 7th pandemic probably started around 1960, 1961 in Indonesia, and has continued to circulate through the world, particularly where there are trouble spots and extreme poverty. And the first pandemics, the early ones, were in the 19th century, thought to have spread from the Bay of Bengal and transformed cities like London and Paris with really bad cholera outbreaks, where they built sewage systems. The Paris that we see today is almost directly the result of the cholera pandemics in the 19th century, where they had to knock down slums and put in clean water and effective sewage.
And a final topic then, weight loss drugs, Norman. It seems there are now some competitors to the very popular Ozempic drug.
Well, there are two dominant drugs in this market. One is called, the trade name is Wegovy, which is the same chemical as Ozempic, semaglutide. And then there's another one produced by Eli Lilly called Mounjaro. And until now, doctors have been prescribing these off-label. They're supposed to be for diabetes, but now in the last few weeks, the Therapeutic Goods Administration has approved them for weight loss. So no longer do doctors have to prescribe them off-label and taking that risk. The problem has been supply, and the drug companies tell us that supply is getting better. So I don't want to give an ad for these drugs, but there's a lot of demand for them. And as we've spoken about before on the show, they're not straightforward drugs necessarily, and some people can get quite major, significant side effects from them. We've still got to shift the weight of the population down through population measures like food supply and other things, not just rely on expensive drugs.